Malo, znaš. Evo ti vidiš, pazi kako amaterski ovo. Ti imaš, samo kad pregledaš ove slike puno ćeš znati. Pazi koji trešina je. Znači likovi, stvarno, on je ekspert za ludake, baš ono za, ne znam, za ekscesne, ja ne znam stvarno, znaš. Za marginalce, čudake. Njegov esej o Maxonu Krambu, ono, o ludom bratu Roberta Kramba je zanimljiviji nego esej o Robertu Krambu, kapiraš? Što te da kažem, da, ova knjiga je posledica toga što je izašla knjiga Robusto u Americi i što je Dragana Drobnjak poslala Bobu Levinu, autoru ove knjige, knjigu Robusto, i ja mogu Boba Levina da nazovem ekspertom za ludake, marginalce, otpadnike. Knjiga se zove Outlaws, Rebels, Freethinkers and Pirates. I čovjek je, ja mislim, ekspert za ono najbizarnije stvari koje se dešavaju u domenu stripa. I recimo, verovatno najvažnija stvar u ovoj zbirci eseja, to je intervju sa S. Clay Wilsonom, inače mojim omiljenim autorom underground svih vremena. Za one koji ne znaju ko je S. Clay Wilson, mogu samo da kažem, svi znaju ko je Robert Crumb, ali Robert Crumb je obožavalac S. Clay Wilsona. I tako da mogu reći da to je ono najvažnije, to je najduži intervju koji je ikada S. Clay Wilson dao nekome i dao ga je Bobu Levinu. Ali za moj lični favorit je ipak prvi esej u knjizi, koji se zove Reflections of a Fan Addict Past. Kao da je pisao mom detinjstvu Bob. Ja sam isto bio narkoman stripa, znači, potpuno neverovatno. Tu se priča o trojici prijatelja koji toliko vole EC Comics, koji su bili ono najbizarniji stripovi 50-ih, da su otišli, ne znam gde su se štampali, u kom gradu, ali oni su otišli u taj grad, potpuno nisu ni pitali roditelje da sretnu te crtače, oni su maštali kakvi su ti ljudi koji prave stripove. Što je to jedna tolika zaluđenost stripom koja se graniči sa zdravim razumom, jedna takva strast i dirljivo je bilo kada je u eseju se piše jedan od tih prijatelja se ubio, drugi je postao neki porno...
Ne, isti je postao porno reditelj
porno filmova, kasnije se ubije narkoman i ubio se.
Da, i svoju devojku ubio i sebe.
Da, a treći se ispostavio da je homoseksualac koji je to... Znači sva trojica su bili, a Bob Levin je samo ono kao da je pao s Marsa. Znači taj trio je išao klinci da vide svoje idole, ko to crta te stripove. Kako je to zaluđenost bila. I tako prepoznao sam zaluđenost iz svog detinjstva, ostrašćenost i... Ne znam, napisao sam Bob odmah, bio sam dirnut tim esejem. Kažem, najvažnije i najobimnije je taj S. Clay Wilson. Ima ovdje još mnogo čudaka, marginalaca, bizarnih likova. Znači, jedna knjiga za svaku preporuku, jedna atipična knjiga o stripu, jedna knjiga koja je, ne znam, čudačka knjiga. Teorijski čudačka knjiga o čudacima, eto, to je to. Pre tačno 2 godine, Zlata i ja smo dovršavali naš dokumentarni film Robustards, i zadnji od intervjua koje smo planirali za film bio je sa Bobom Levinom, autorom ove knjige. U nastavku ćete moći da čujete taj intervju.
Hi. Hello.
Will you tell us how did it happen that you wrote this review for Comics Journal and this?
Well, your publisher, Dragana, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she wrote me an email. She was, I guess, had read my book, my collection of essays about cartoonists, pirates, outlaws, pirates, rebels, outlaws, I forget what it's called. Here it is. Outlaws, Rebels, Freethinkers, Pirates, and Pornographers. That was the real title, but they left pornographers off it. They printed it. She thought I would like the comic. So I said, sure, send it to me. And she sent it to me. And then it knocked me out. I liked it. I liked it so much that I'm always looking for things to write that interest me, and this interested me, and I thought, I knew the Comics Journal would print it. They print basically anything I send them. So I sent it to them, and they were happy to have it, and illustrated journal since 1988. And I write, maybe half a dozen pieces a year for them. It used to be when they were a magazine, a real magazine, I would do only a couple because I could do longer profile essay type pieces that I liked. And but once they went online, shorter pieces like reviews made more sense. I did a long one just this week about Mike Diana that went up this week.
Yes.
The one I asked you about, that was a long one. Well, when I was a kid, I was a fan of EC Comics. EC horror comics and crime comics and war comics and science fiction comics and Mad and Panic. I was a, EC fanatic, card-carrying EC fanatic. And then they put the comic book code in 1954, 55, and said comics had to, subscribe to these, this code. And it put EC out of business. I was 13 years old, 12, 13 years old, and I knew that was wrong. I knew, these were the best comics that were out there. So I think that formed me as somebody who was a First Amendment absolutist at that point. And then I basically stopped reading comics then. And when I was older, in my 30s, I got interested in comics again, and I saw that people thought highly of ECs, and I wrote about ECs, and the Comics Journal printed that. And then I just thought, hey, okay, this is a place where I can find artists who I like, and I just got into it. I saw these guys were really interesting and funny, the underground cartoonists and the alternative cartoonists. I'm not interested in mainstream cartoonists. I don't read superheroes. I don't never read Marvel or any of those guys. But the underground cartoonists and what's now called the indie cartoonists or the alternative cartoonists, they do really substantial work. So, somebody will say, you like so-and-so, maybe you'll like this guy, and they'll show me the book, and if I like it, I'll write something about it, and that's how it sort of goes now. I've become like this go-to guy when somebody, for transgressive cartoonists, they seek me out, and they think, okay, maybe Levin will like my book, and usually I do, and I try to help them out with a review.
Nice.
Yes. You and Dragana, two of you, really made me think. When we made this Robusto, this is really like you will hear it in the movie. I say it was more like joking with some circle. This my hometown is really a town of weirdos, madmen. You have really crazy people, strange people. Yes, you have the biggest madhouse in Serbia is in my small town. Here, near 200 meters away from us, and then you don't know what actually you did, and then it's really when Dragana said that this is like the best document of these crazy times. I didn't realize that this was that serious, and then I read your review. It was really, what is this? I mean, I liked it. I like this kind. I have these gothic comics. I have this more serious, but I like more this kind of stuff, trashy stuff, weird stuff. And then you really made me think that it's better than I ever thought. I say it in the movie. I never thought anyone will publish, especially translated. I didn't think it could relate to for an example, American audience. But as the crisis is going on, as everything is falling apart, probably if it was published in America in year 2001 or 2005, there will be less place than now for audience to identify with the problems and with the fears. So it's really strange. And
I sincerely liked it. I don't write about things that I don't like.
Yes, I noticed.
So I sincerely liked it, and as I said in the review, the fact that you were dealing with this whole period of horrors, outrageous horrors in your society, and that this became this really suitable medium to do it in. It's like you can sort of just say things over and over again about how, say, Donald Trump, that he's a racist and a misogynist and egomaniac and ill-informed, ill-equipped, and it just loses its meaning if you've heard that 10 or 15 or 20 times. So you need somebody to like do more, you know, like keep it fresh, and that's what this was doing, I thought. You know, it just was so over the top and so outrageous that it, you know, conveyed the experience remarkably well. I mean, I guess I'd asked Dragna what I should read. You know, she suggested a couple books about Serbia so I could familiarize myself with what actually was going on or had gone on, and that grounded me. And then when I could see how this like fit into it, that, you know, that helped me appreciate Robusto.
Yes, yes. So it's really one of the biggest surprises ever for me about my work is what you two guys did, Dragana and you. Really, it was really. I mean, you did something, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago I started, 10 years ago it was over, and you know, it was published on the internet, scanned from the Xerox zine, really not good copy. It was, so I never thought I will see it in paper, especially in the book, especially in America. I mean, it's really surreal. It's positive, it's great. Like, you know, I don't know if you believe in astrology, but I have these predictions about my life. First part of the life will be hard, uphill struggle, you know, problems. Then second part of the life should be like everything goes better. When you already gave up everything, and now it's really year after year, it's getting better and better. And this is really one of the best events, this book and this review and everything, you know. Like all of us communicating. I say, we are a kind of, Zlata gave the name of the movie Robustards. While Dragana and me were speaking, I said, you know, if somebody read this comic one day, 20 years in the future, he will say, those bastards had really good time. You know, I don't know if there was crisis. And then she said, Robustards. She was behind the camera, Robustards. So she gave the name, and I think you are the Robustard, not only me. All of us.
We are all
yes,
Robustards.
like a gang of weirdos, or you know. I consider you, Dragana, Zlata, me, my father, all these crazy guys who were involved, like Robustards, you know, like a kind of a sector.
Yeah.
I was talking to a woman who I met. She'd read one of my other books, and she's from Iran. She studies the Sufis. She's lived here since the 60s, but she studies the Sufis, and she said there's like this maximum that, like, I forget how she put it, but basically it's like your life doesn't end until the final book of life, the final time the book of life is shut. But you never know, like, what repercussions something you've done is going to have for other people.
Yes.
You know, so it's like, you know, this book that I wrote, which came out in 2005, which sold 750 copies. You know, it touched Dragna. You know,
yes.
She says it touched her and motivated her in her own art. You know, so she reached out to me, and then that connected me with you, and you know, there's just like these ripples from this, you know, the stone in the pond and the ripples. You never know what, so you just keep doing your work, and you never know what the consequences are going to be and how you'll affect somebody else.
Especially with this internet age, this is really weird. I mean, you, Dragan, and me are totally different generations, but I feel like I went to school with you. You are older than me, she's younger, much younger than me, but I don't have a feeling, you know, like, I have a feeling like we are the same generation, I don't know. You know, when you said you never know in life, my father, he is 88 now, you know, and he first drew his first comic when he was 65. And then when he was 66, yes, and 67, he drew porno comics with you. I will send you porno Tarzan and such things. Like Gang Bang, Tarzan, Cheetah, and some mole and snail, it's weird. But you know, and then when he was 70, he first tried to make music, to sing it. It's totally weird. He's really like, you know, like a psychedelic version of Homer Simpson. But really, he's very nice, but very weird. And he was, you know, he had to feed the family, to wear the tie and suit to work. And then when he was retired, only then he started. After 65, really, you know. You don't know when it's too late or when.
Yes. And what connects one to the other?
Yes.
And what comes out
Yes.
out of those?
And like you and Sean Baby.
Yes.
Like the fact that you found
Yes, Sean Baby. Yes, I don't know him personally. He was on MTV.
Does he?
Through some period, he was on MTV. He had some talk show or something. I don't know if he's doing that now. But what I like his writing when he was unknown and very young. This Turkish trilogy. This is really hardcore, Sean Baby. He's on crackpot.
Does he know that you adopted it into Turkish trilogy?
No, I don't think he knows that I exist at all. Probably he will be, I don't know, surprised, or because these are reviews. I took literally, I think almost every word because it is so greatly written, and I took it and then posted for drawing, and then like it was happening for 3 years, and you also motivated me. I had a pile of stuff translated in English, but I'm translating more or using translations from the internet. What I'm doing now, the comic based on letter of Friedrich Nietzsche, but psychotic letter. He was crazy. He will take over the world. He will publish Antichrist in 1 million of copies on all. These were his plans in this crazy letter. I really like it. I really cannot understand why they don't want to publish all of his insane letters, because it is the greatest thing. I mean, it's so great. If you didn't read, you should read it. This is so. He wrote a lot of pornographic, dirty, very dirty poems. Somebody read it. I think Georg Brandes. That was his friend. He saw some of these writings, but at the end they were destroyed. His sister Elisabetta destroyed it. She was a Nazi. She was really conservative. She gave his works to the Nazis, like he predicted Hitler, but destroyed his porno. It's really. But at the end, I think his insane letters are really like valuable. This is really great writing. So I will send you. Today I was working on that. In a few days, I hope that I will send you this comic.
Okay, well, I'm going to send you some more stuff too.
Great. I would like to read everything from you. Anything you have, you want to send, even if it was not published anything. I'm really interested. Yes. After this book, really, these things about Doris said, everything. I mean, I said this book is like 15 books in one book, or something like that. It's really like every essay. I don't read 2 essays per day. I read one and then I think of it, and then I also check out on the internet, like with Easy Comics. I found all of this huge library. Everything is there. Yes.
You gave me the link to that.
Yes. If you want anything, just say. I have already downloaded.
I want Donald Trump's tax returns.
Oh, this is hard to get. This is hard to get.
I'm waiting for them. Somebody's got to have them.
About this Trump thing, I think we went through really bad experiences, but at the same time I think it's good that people see now. Obama was too intellectual, too refined, but this guy is really a bully, really a redneck. It's good to see who is on the top of America for American people. Some of them will be shocked to see, it was because I think, I think the policy was already bullying, the whole world. But this guy is really, and I think that you will go through the worst moments, and some of you will go through the best moments. Like some very bad thing and good thing. I think people will make some syndicates like Solidarność in Poland, during the Russian occupation. Because I think when a next financial breakdown will be, there will be hungry people in America, fighting for survival, really. And then there will be some kind of syndicates. People will get together, poor people, some of them, more clever, And I think the togetherness which is lost in America, as I heard from my American friends, will flourish, and alternative art will flourish, like we, Before crisis, I gave up comics. I thought I was not gifted, it's not for me. And then when everything started to fall apart, I started to pick up and to become an artist, and I did it for 26 next years.
So I think in America it will be hard but interesting period. You know, for some people very hard, for some people interesting, for some people and hard and interesting at the same time. So
Like we're
I think underground will flourish, like hardcore during the Reagan times. Hardcore music. And
also
this is what I think.
we hear very have a very kako se kažem plodni period imamo i mi ovdje u kući.
Fruitful period, yes.
Yes, because I
Yes,
quit my job, and because I was living in other city, and I came to live here, and now we are free to do whatever we want.
Yes, yes.
And
We are kind of gypsies. We lead a life kind of gypsies on a very low, you know, financial level, but we are more satisfied than ever.
Yeah.
You know, it's really.
Yeah. And we have all the freedom in the world to do what we want. Actually, yeah.
Yes. And this is the part.
Yes.
Yes, and it's great. It's great that we have you. We wanted, you know, the movie is actually finished.
Yes.
And tomorrow Zlata will edit your speech, and then it will be finished. And then when we show,
I wanted to say that I had a feeling that movie is creating itself. Like I'm only a tool to it.
Yes.
Because I don't know, all that you will see in the movie. Dragana says that she appreciates about Wostok that he inspires other people to create, to express themselves.
Especially non-professionals and outsiders.
Yes. And that he also did to me, because when we first started our relationship, we already started to move that into that direction, and we had some maybe more lo-fi movies, couple of them in Serbian and some.
Yes, there is something on YouTube translated in English.
Yes, but this is like the most serious thing that I've ever done on my own. It's like really great stuff for me too.
Yes.
This movie.
Yes.
This whole movie.
And it started, you know, Zlata, she bought a new camera, and then she used to picture everything since, I don't know, years ago. And then, you know, actually how the movie started, there was no plan about the movie. I was to meet Dragana in June of this year for the first time in life. She should give me 8 books of Robusto. And then she said, I will picture your talk, just to record it. And then she pictured that talk, and then it was first this confiscation on the border.
Yes.
Then it was your review. Then things started to grow. You will see in the movie. I think there is a lot of talk about this confiscation. You know, about the freedom of expression.
Oh, Canada,
Yes. I think any Canadian who is who likes freedom won't be pleasant to see this movie.
Yes.
What we are talking about.
Milka Stupar, that
She's from Canada. Yes.
Yes, she ordered the Robusto and didn't get it.
Yes.
And she told us that we should send this movie to festivals in Canada, like some independent movies.
Yes, just to people to see.
Yes, to people to see. Who knows? Do they know really what
is happening?
Yes.
Dragana said, you will see it in the movie. Nobody, these guys from Comics Legal Defense Fund told her. Do you have any paper, anything, evidence? Nothing.
They didn't.
She said, she called the Canadian border.
She contacted, yes.
And they denied that anything happened. You know, it's like a Stalinist police, like in Stalin's USSR. You know, nobody knows anything. You know, you will see. We have pictures of the package and of the nice letter Dragana wrote with the heart to Milka, because it was the first order. You know. And then the letter is also damaged.
Yes.
You will see the pictures of everything.
Yes. And also
it's unbelievable, really. It's so savage. It's so, I don't know.
Yes, and also
primitive.
About Robusto and Robustards that carries the same fate of Robusto, that connects people to create something together, to do something on.
Yes.
And I'm really glad that you agreed to speak with us about this because
I'm sorry the camera doesn't work.
yeah, of course.
But okay,
I'm gonna try with somebody else and see if. Because
Yes.
maybe the problem's with me and how I set it up. I don't have any confidence in
yes,
myself.
yes,
with technology.
it's rather complicated.
I was amazed
Yes.
that I could even get started with Skype.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's rather complicated. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So
But,
it's great that we have you
Yes.
actually we will have you the movie, and you will see the movie is that weird that it will be great to have you with this T-shirt just
Yeah.
from the other continent,
Yes.
like from the other planet. Only the voice is
Like-
here. It's really it's
Like
it's good.
I'm no professional. I do this all things I did by myself, from animation to narration to camera, everything. And this is DIY project, like
Yes.
some fans
No budget project.
fans in the movie or
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't have some really. I work with what I have, and if this is what I have, like we don't have the picture, it's okay. It's like
We will
this
manage
is,
to do something out of it.
yes,
like Robusto guys say, we have to survive
It's
at the first place.
this is how it happened.
I get
So
it.
Yes.
so I really appreciate it anyhow. So
Yes. So what is sure?
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
The
Thank
movie
you for
will
asking me to
be
participate.
the
Okay,
movie,
so I gotta go.
yes.
Yeah.
Then we will be in contact. I will send you anything I manage to translate or I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
These porno movies from my dad. Okay, we'll be in contact.
thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.